Cześć i dzień dobry wszystkim, Mufik z tej strony i zapraszam Was na odcinek z serii Kingdom Come Deliverance, w którym przekonamy się, że ksiądz w sutannie to też tylko człowiek. Dojechałem do Równej i naszym znacznikiem numer B, literką B, jest tenże wieśniak, z którym porozmawiam.
I see there's not much going on around here. So you've stayed here on your own?
Quite so, all by myself. All the others were either killed by the Cumans or fled to Rattay.
I'm sorry to hear that. And what's keeping you here, alone?
My older brother ran away with the wandering players, so when our father was on his deathbed, he made me swear I'd never leave our home.
I can see you took your vow seriously.
I did. But it's starting to get dangerous around here. Again.
The Cumans.
If it were Cumans, I'd grab an axe and that would be that. But a week back, some rabble made their way through here. They begged me for food, and mark my words, they weren't taking no for an answer. If they'd been just a tad hungrier, I swear they would have stormed the cottage.
There are gangs like that around, true enough. I saw the mess they left behind. Savages.
It was horrible. People tried to find shelter in the church, but them dogs was waiting. They knew too well that's where folk would try to hide.
And where did you hide?
By the grace of God, I got my family away into the woods.
But I don't see your family with you. I hope those bastards didn't sniff them out.
No, it takes better man than them to track me down. I sent my wife to Rattay with some others.
Do you think folk will ever go back to their homes?
Well, I don't know about Scallets, but the folk here are sure to want to come back. The only thing they're missing is spiritual support.
Do you mean the priest?
Indeed. When the land's at war, noblemen fight to protect their property. But simple folk want someone to tend their souls.
Of course. But it was the Scalit's parish priest who ministered here, wasn't it?
He did. But there's been no sign of him since the attack. Or at least he's definitely not in Rattay among the refugees.
That's true enough. I didn't see him there.
But if you're interested, young fella, maybe you could help us find the priest we need here.
No to jest właśnie chyba coś, czego musimy
I can always
doglądać.
ask. But I've really got no idea where to start.
I can help with that. A few years ago, there used to be another priest in Scallets. Simon, I think his name was.
Simon. Father Simon. I remember him. That's the one who went missing, right?
Aye. I don't want to spread rumours, but they say he was in love with his housekeeper. And then she died somehow.
Jakoś tak umarła. No, brzmi solidnie.
That's not a story I've come across.
It only reaches folk who care for such tales. Well, to finish the story, Simon left the parish and ran away. You know that already. There was neither sight nor sound of him for a long time. Until this spring, he showed up here.
And what's he doing here?
That's just it. People say he's become a hermit.
All right. And where can I find him?
I couldn't tell you exactly, but you could start by talking to that girl's parents. Well, they live on a farm nearby, and it's likely they know more. They may even have had words with him.
I'll go and see what they have to say for themselves.
God go with you, lad, and I pray you find him. If some heathen stabs me in my sleep, I'd rather have a decent burial.
Don't worry. I'll bring someone.
May the Lord watch over you.
O, świetnie. Zadanie w zadaniu w zadaniu. Jak w tym, jak w Incepcji. We need to go deeper. Znajdź ojca Szymiona. Znajdź ojca Szymona. Tam mogę porozmawiać z rodziną gosposi. I to jest generalnie wszystko. No to dobra, to jadę. Cóż mi innego zostało. Nie takie kilometry się robiło. No, dotarłem. Widzę, że ktoś tu czeka na nas na wejściu, na obejściu.
God bless. What can I help you with?
I'm looking for the priest, Father Simon, and I heard you might know of him.
Simon? What do you want him for?
I'm looking for the priest who used to take care of St. James, and the locals tell me they saw him around here.
I don't know if I can help you there. He'll never go back to his parish, if you ask me. Very well. What is it you want to know?
What went on between Simon and your daughter?
Nothing that hasn't happened before. Our Mary was his housemaid in Skalitz. She was pretty, very pretty. And he was young, and so things went the way they do between comely young folk. She came back home one day, heavy with child.
Kto byś się spodziewał?
Yes, these things happen. What can you do?
I said as much. I was just glad our girl was provided for. Only she never had the chance to hold that babe in her arms. She didn't live through the birth.
I'm very sorry.
Such is a woman's lot in life. Men die in battle, and women in the arms of the midwife.
And what happened to Simon?
The poor man, he took it the worst. He was sure God's wrath smote Mary for her fornication.
That's rubbish. People lie together out of wedlock all the time, and God never smites them down.
That's just what I told him. But it's hardly my place to lecture a priest. And who knows? Maybe he was right. The Lord moves in mysterious ways. He was overflowing with grief. He barely spoke, didn't eat, refused to take a new housemaid. And then, one fine day, the presbytery was deserted. It took a good season before another priest came along.
Chociaż tyle, że go trzepnęło po sumieniu.
Where can I find him? He's said to be wandering around here somewhere.
I heard that too, and I'm inclined to believe it, even though I haven't seen him myself.
How come?
After our poor Mary went to her rest, we used some of the money he'd paid us to put a cross up by the roadside. And lately, there's been wreaths of comfrey turning up next to it. I don't take them there.
O,
Nor my
proszę.
husband neither.
Mamy potencjalny
Simon
trop.
Who knows? Maybe it's a miracle. I could believe anything. But there's not been fresh ones for a while, so perhaps he's moved on elsewhere again.
I see. Can you tell me where that cross is?
Certainly. There are settling tanks for the mines to the west of Skalitz. On the hill above them in the woods, there are several paths. Mary's cross is by one of them, close to the brook.
All right, thanks.
No, tak, jest iść do krzyża, więc
What
mogę
went
sprawdzić
on
jeszcze
between
pozostałe
Simon
tutaj opcje
and your
dialogowe
daughter?
z ciekawości.
Nothing that hasn't happened before. She was pretty.
That must have been quite a scandal.
My husband was furious. He ran around the cottage brandishing an axe and yelling that he'd kill him. The neighbours wagged their tongues a bit, but in the end I was happy the girl was taken care of. The priest was generous with his compensation. Only she never had the chance to hold that babe in her arms.
I'm very sorry.
Such is a woman's
widzieliśmy.
lot.
And what happened to Simon?
The poor man.
The Bible does say it's a terrible sin.
Well, I'm not fit to judge, and the ways of the Lord are strange. He was overflowing with grief. He barely spoke, didn't eat, refused to take a new house.
Okej,
I'll be
to ja
going.
już pójdę.
Very good then. And if you do find him, let him know that we have no hard feelings.
I'll tell him.
God be with you.
Gdzieś tu widziałem, że jeszcze się chyba ojciec kręcił. Może jego jeszcze bym spróbował zapytać o jakieś informacje. I poszedł tu gdzieś, tu jest.
What's going? Who are you? God be with you.
It may sound strange, but I'm looking for Simon, the priest.
Father Simon? I last saw him when he was paying me damages. That was back when Mary was still with us. If you want to know something, ask the wife. I don't have the time or the will to talk about that man.
I understand. Thank you.
God
Okej,
be with you.
krótko, zwięźle. Zobaczmy, gdzie ten krzyż. No nic, no trochę gorzej to wygląda. No ale pojedziemy. Cóż pozostało? Okej, pojechałem dość mocno przełajem. Tutaj końcówkę już wzdłuż strumienia i chyba jestem gdzieś przy tym celu. Jest krzyż.
This must be that cross. Mary's mother was right. Someone did lay flowers here recently.
Rozejrzyj się. Okej, chociaż tyle, że podpowiadałem, gdzie trzeba się rozejrzeć.
I should have a look around and see if there's comfrey growing anywhere nearby.
O! Kogo my tu mamy? Włóczęga?
Hey, you! What are you doing here?
Oj, gościu. Nie chcesz ze mną
I've come for the
zaczynać.
priest. Simon,
There's no one here called that.
there is. Do you take me for a fool?
All right. Maybe there is someone here. What of it? We're not going
A
anywhere.
pomóc ci w tym? On ma 0 retoryki?
I
No.
think you should talk less and move your legs more.
And why is that? You think you've got what it takes to beat us?
I might. But it doesn't matter, because I saw you yesterday and then stopped by Talmberg to report. So, unless you'd rather wait for Sedivish's Captain Robard, you should go now.
Dobry blef.
All right, we'll go. How far are they?
Far enough still. If you run, I'm sure you'll get away.
Right, right. Thanks for the warning.
O, dobre ten. Oni tam chyba mają jedną wspólną szarą komórkę, ostatnią na 2. To pewnie jest, no, ksiądz Szymon, nawet
thank you,
wpisany.
son. I was beginning to fear I'd never get out of here alive.
They didn't look dangerous. The only thing at risk was your possessions.
I know, poor fools. But I was afraid they'd leave me here. What would I have done then? And to whom do I owe my salvation?
My name's Henry. You may remember me. I'm the son of the Skalitz blacksmith.
Your face does seem familiar. But listen, Henry, I can't help feeling you didn't stumble across me by accident.
No, dobrze kombinujesz.
I've come to ask a favor of you.
Me? What on earth could I do for you?
I need you to go back to St. James. The folk there need spiritual guidance. Skalitz has a burned out shell, and many have died in St. James. They need a priest. Any priest.
I understand, but I have to disappoint you. I gave up my calling. Instead, I've given myself over to
Gościu, nie stwarzaj problemów.
The people need you. Please understand that.
I understand, but they need a better priest than I.
Do you have any idea what's going on around you? There is war, Father. War. People are dying. They slaughtered folk in St. James who sought sanctuary in the church.
I'm not blind. I do know what's happened.
And yet you want me to go back and tell them that the only person far and wide who could serve as their priest turned them down?
You lay a great burden on me, Henry.
I know that, but the people do need you.
You're probably right. It is my duty. At least for a time.
No właśnie.
Until they find someone better.
Zadzieraj kiece i leć.
As you say, once things are back in order, there'll be a new priest at St. James, and you can leave if you want.
All right. I'll take what I can carry and go back to St. James.
Thank you. Your parishioners will be very grateful. I need help with treatment.
And what's wrong with you?
Oh, nothing. But Philip from Skalitz is dying. He's lying in Sasau and won't last long.
Slowly now. What happened to him?
Nobody knows much. He's not wounded, but I heard he was hiding from the Cumans for days in a pile of carcasses.
The Lord have mercy. The living should never lie with the dead. His intestines must be purged, but even then he's in God's hands.
How do I clean his intestines?
It might surprise you, but you'll have to give him alcoholic spirits. The purest you can get your hands on. The best is distilled from Artemisia. It'll make him a bit delirious, but it'll help. I'll show you how to prepare it.
Po rozmowie z Szymonem wróciłem do Równej. Gadamy z naszym
Good health,
wieśniakiem.
dear.
I found you a priest.
Really? That's wonderful news. Who is it?
The former parish priest of St. James. I persuaded him to return to live among you, at least for a while.
So you found him.
Yes, he was roaming the woods around here.
Thank God. You'll see. Once there's a priest, people will soon be back.
I hope so.
I've put together a small sum for a new piece. So I thought a portion should definitely go
Dobrze
to you
kombinujesz,
as a
gościu.
reward.
Thanks. That'll come in handy.
You're welcome. The main thing is, we'll have a man of God here with us.
So, farewell to you. And I hope he gets here soon. Just don't you let him run off again.
I'll keep an eye on him myself. Godspeed to you, Henry, and thank you for your help. God be with you.
I to wszystko w zadaniu w sutannie. Bardzo serdecznie dziękuję wszystkim za oglądanie. Gorąco zapraszam do kolejnego odcinka, a na razie to tyle, także oby do zobaczenia.